everyone, and welcome to another version of Building Blocks. I'm Judy Brown from the Little Fabric Garden, and today I am going to show you something that kind of goes back to other things that I've done in the past, like way in the past. I don't know if all of you have been following all of the videos that we've been doing, but when we first started, we started with some disappearing blocks. And at the time they were pretty popular and they were very easy to do. And we went through the disappearing 4 patch and the 9 patch and all these other patches. And so then, we did some things and some projects with them. And then they kind of went on the side burner and we started doing some other things. Well, a couple weeks ago, I was looking at some scraps that I had laying on my table, and I had some half square triangles, these things. And they were left over from a project that I had done, and they were just laying on my cutting table. And it was like, do I want to get rid of those? Do I want to take them to the store and see if somebody else wants them? Can I do something with them? And so I kept looking at them, and I was thinking, disappearing. I think I really wanted them just to disappear off my table, but they didn't do that, so I was trying to think of something else to do with them. And so I came up with, and it's probably out there somewhere, but I just never saw it. And it's a disappearing half square triangle. I don't even know if I can say that fast 3 times in a row. But anyway, I think that it had been done, but maybe in a different way. So anyway, I started working on it, and I was really excited with how it turned out. So we wanted to try it and see what you thought about it too. So here we go. Now, what I did was I used 5-inch squares. You don't have to use 5-inch squares. You can use any size you want, but make sure they're all the same size. And as you see in front of me, I have a background fabric, which I've got the kind of like a tea stained, because I really do like the country Civil War look. And then I have some Civil War prints that I'm using. These are all 5-inch squares. So we're going to turn these 5-inch squares into half square triangles. So I'm going to take these over to the mat, and I'm going to get these ready to go. All right, so I am going to match up one of the background fabrics with one of the squares, and remember, we put them right sides together. So move this out of the way, slide this down. Now, if you remember, and most of you probably do, to do a half square triangle, you can do it 2 different ways. You can draw a line from corner to corner, diagonal line, corner to corner, and then you will sew 1/4 inch from each side. Or you can use a tool that will make life a whole lot easier for you. So what I'm going to do is just put this tool, and it's got a slit down the middle, so you can, this one does, so you can see where the line is if you wanted to draw another line. But I'm just going to lay this corner piece here against the corner here, and then arrange it here. And so I am going to draw the line there and here. And these are going to be my sew lines. I will be sewing on these lines. And I am going to stick a couple of pins in here so it doesn't slip on me. I do have a tendency to have that happen. So, all right, just get a couple. And I will take this one, and I already cheated, see? I already put the lines on there before you came. All right, so here we go. Now when we do this, and like we sew these lines and then we cut on the from corner to corner, we're going to end up with 2 of the same. So instead of just having 1 half square triangle, you're going to have 2 that look exactly the same. Come over here, and we're going to get these sewed. try to stay on the line, you know, of course, when you sew. It should be kind of easy. Since you know where you're sewing, you've got the line there to help you. Now, you know, if you decide you want bigger blocks, and, you know, and I don't blame you if you do, it's kind of fun to see what they look like with all different sizes. But make sure that if you decide you want to go with an 8-inch square to start out with, that all of your things are, you know, all of your squares are 8-inch. This is very exciting watching me cut these threads, isn't it? All right, so here we are, and I'm just going to cut right down the middle. And you can see we end up with 2 of that one. And Alright, and so you see we've got our half square triangles. Now what I'm going to do is take these over to the ironing board, and I'm going to press them, and I will press them toward the dark side, and then we are going to trim them, square them down to 4.5-inch half square triangles. Alright, so here we have our half square triangles, and when you start with you start with the squares that are 5-inch squares, you end up with half square triangles that need to be squared down to 4.5 inches. So you know how they get kind of wonky and you got a piece sticking up here. So if you do that, you will, it'll be good in what you need. All right, so here we have our squares, and I think that the other way that I was thinking about that did this disappearing half square triangle, I think that it went like this, with the colors, the prints on the outside and the light one on the inside. So I decided I did mine this way. Now I don't know if they were done this way. I'm just thinking that it was. I decided that I wanted to do them this way. So I just kind of arranged them. I'm going to move this one over here, put this one here. All right, and I am going to sew these together, and we will have, you know, our block. Okay, so take it over and put this one like this. And don't forget, you need to have a 1/4-inch seam allowance, and that's what we're going to have here. This 1/4-inch seam allowance. And I didn't put any pins in it because it's really kind of a straight shot down here, so and I'm going to press them. One will go one way, then the other one will go the other, so that we can nest them here in the middle. So I will come over and do that. And I am going to nest these together here in the middle, and I am going to pin it this time. So I'll stick a pin here. See if I can find a pin that's straight. I seem to bend them all over the place. So, all right, got that. Put this one here, put a pin here. And another one over on this side. Sure do make a mess. All right, so when I open it up, this is what it looks like. All right, it's kind of like a square and square. I will press this, and you can press it either way. All right, so this is what we have right now, and this is where the magic starts happening. I just love these disappearing blocks. Okay, let me get this going in the right direction here. So what we're going to do is the seams that are holding these guys together, holding these blocks together, we are going to measure 1.5 inches from the seam. So I'm going to put this like right down the center, get it on 1.5. All right, and I'm going to cut it. I'm going to turn it. I'm going to do the same thing on this one. 1.5 inch mark right down the middle on that seam. And cut it. Now if you have one of the mats that turn, that would be really helpful. I don't have one here, so we're just going to turn this each time. Okay, and we'll do it this time, and then we'll have one more time, turn it one more time, and we will, okay. So, I'm going to turn this back this way. It's easier for me to work it. All right, so now we've got our pieces. They are all cut. Now if you look in the middle, you're going to see that there's a little 4-patch in the middle, which is very cute. And now I'm going to take this and I'm going to turn it this way. I'm going to take this piece and turn it. So all of the points are going to be going in toward the middle here. Okay. All right, so this is what it looks like now. I'm going to do a little trimming. I don't like the way this looks here, so I'm going to trim that off a little bit. You wonder how those things can happen because they were all trimmed down to 4.5 inch squares. So when you put them together, you would think that they would be together, but as you can see, they are not. So I'm just going to do a little bit of trimming here. And then what we are going to do is we are going to sew the rows together and then, or sew the pieces, the squares together, and then the rows together to get our new block. All right, I trimmed up this little piece down here, and I want you to take a good look at it, because what's going to happen now when I sew these blocks together and these rows together, this little point is going to get cut off. Now you don't want that to happen, and I don't know how it happens because they were all done, they were all trimmed down to 4.5. They should not have done that, but it did, so we'll just move right on. All right, so now we're going to get these things sewed together. All right, so as you can see, I sewed these 2 rows together, and I'm going to put this one on so that we can get this one sewed also. And then you will be able to see how cute this block is. It's not very big after you do all these cuttings, you know, like you sew the half square triangles together you know, of course that makes it get a little smaller, and then you cut it and then you sew it back together again. And so it doesn't end up being a very big block. So you may have to do, you know, put a couple of them together, and I'll show you what I did with them. Alright, so here is the block. And what I just think that the fact that you end up with these teeny tiny little triangles there, it just is really cool. I really, really like it. Now I'm going to go press this, and then I'm going to show you what I did, because as I said, this isn't very big. I think it ends up being like 7.5. Yeah, it's like a 7.5 inch square, so that's kind of small. But I'll show you what I did. I'll be right back. All right, so here it is pressed. The back doesn't look all that great, but here it is pressed, and it is small. So what I ended up doing was I took 4 of them and I laid them out side by side, and this is what it ended up looking like. I absolutely love it. It is just so darn cute. And what you can do is, because you've got another one of these, you know, you've got another whole set. So you could make, you know, get 4 more background fabrics, 4 more prints, and then you could mix them all up so that when you started making these blocks, they'd be different. And they, you know, like you could put this one with another one that you had. You could get the variety. But I thought it came out really, really cute. So the pattern for this will be online. It will be at the Bradford Public Library here at the store, Little Fabric Garden. And again, you know, I hope you try it. It's fun and it's really cute. Just love those little triangles. And post your pictures. We'd love to see them. Until next time, have a great day. Bye.